blessings, love and light to you. So grateful that you are here today. Oh, I'm feeling so amazing being here, grounded in the energy with the earth, and we got these beautiful flowers blooming everywhere. It's so awe-inspiring. So thank you so much again for being here. I'm so grateful. I'll just start out with the importance, of grounding, of spending our time in nature, making sure we're getting out there, especially as we're shifting and elevating our energy. It is good to remember to spend time in nature. It really helps for grounding, it really helps for transmuting, really helps for centering. So we're so grateful for all of that. So I went and did, a challenge to kind of see what message would come up, and just like the sense of abundance. We're all the time surrounded with abundance. Abundance is within ourselves. But a lot of times what happens is we have a tendency through our thoughts and feelings to block our abundance from coming in. So today's video, I want to talk about unblocking your abundance. And abundance it's not only like money, it's abundance of feeling joy. It's abundance of connecting to our loved ones in a really deep way. Abundance of resources when needed. It's that right message at the right time that keeps you awe-inspired and is abundantly there. The spontaneous experience. So sometimes we'll be like, oh, we're blocked, or things are just not flowing. Let's look at what are those blocks that are keeping your abundance from flowing in. Abundance of love, abundance of trust, abundance of joy, abundance of healing, abundance, abundance, abundance. Because honestly, that's all within us and without. There's no reason we shouldn't be flowing in abundance unless we have blockages. So again, healing the inner child is so vitally important, because a lot of our stuff that's deeply rooted in the subconscious mind, it's a lot to do with conditioning and also like the inner child stuff. So basically giving the inner child the space to heal and feel free, the abundance can pour in through that way. So we may have some old patterns, beliefs, feelings, and thoughts that may actually be just based off of fear and not so much, the abundance of love. So kind of take some time if you can and just find like what isn't flowing. What is blocking your abundance? Where you're like, oh, I just can't make enough money because such and such and such. I'm not, gifted enough. I'm not that smart. Look at those things that we say to ourselves that we think is no big deal. Oh, I'm just joking about it. Or if we joke about ourselves in a certain way, why are you joking about yourself in that way? And is it blocking your flow? Like, oh, I'm just not smart enough to make millions or whatever it is. Why do you believe that? Just step back and be like, higher self, why do I say those things? And then be like, I'm not resonating with that. Like, I am smart. We can empower ourselves. I am smart. I am good enough to accept abundance. Sure, or, oh, I'm not worthy to receive love, because such and such happened when I was a kid, and that showed me that I'm not worthy. Look at that as like, wait a minute, why do I think I'm not worthy? Do not think I'm worthy enough for love? And then just look at that as like, okay, that's some inner work that needs to be done right there. Let's focus on really consciously looking at what are your subconscious thoughts and feelings about yourself, and then trying to identify where you see those blocks, because you might think this big wall that's blocked you for so long from experiencing abundance, with one change of a pattern can come down and abundance can flow through. So it's like, wait a minute, I am worthy enough for love, and then love can come through. Wait a minute, I am smart enough to bring in providing finances. Wait a minute, I am definitely seeking God. So like mine is my ego, is my spirituality based on my ego. So like I've had some weird stuff come up, but it's like, wait a minute, just take a deep breath. You know how much you love God. Just honor that within yourself. Trust your intuition. Your intuition will show you if there's a place. So there's some places like where I find some blocks is emotional reaction, and for the longest time, like, what is the deal with this? You know, I'll be so chill, so calm, so wonderful, and then some circumstance happens and the triggers, you know. So I did all these videos on honor your triggers, but by honoring my triggers, I got to identify. No, I'm sorry, slow down. I do videos on honoring your triggers and stuff like that, and some meditations I did to help me make peace with that situation or those situations, and hopefully inspire you to do as well, to be inspired as well. Ooh, let me ground so that energy, you're getting all excited. So grounding that energy and then doing these meditations and honoring those triggers by doing these practices. I'm like so excited, I'm stuttering. I'm sorry, please forgive me. By doing those practices, I was able to identify a huge thing for me, which has to do with the emotions. Like, and I realized, oh my goodness, yes, I'm sensitive. Yes, I am very sensitive as an empath, a waking mystic, and all this stuff. But, however, what I did notice is sometimes that can be an excuse for my behavior. It's because I'm sensitive. Yes, but the empowered side of me is like, wait a minute, what is this? Let's not justify it, which is a form of my ego is what I'm getting to, and I did recognize that. Like, that is definitely ego. But then stepping back and saying, wait a minute, this energy is coming from somewhere. Let me humbly ask that this can get cleared and that I can understand, what is this? Why is it so easily triggered? It's like a wiring there. Why is it a circumstance comes up and I think that because I'm overloaded by energy that I need to keep expressing? Because what that does is when I express that I'm upset about it, or express that it's bothering me, or express that I'm too sensitive, it's good to express. So I do have this belief, don't repress or express, but all in good timing, okay? And all in a way that's not harming another, or not harming yourself, or not boosting your ego in some sort of low frequency way where you think it's a high frequency. So I know that sounds a little complicated, but with my situation, it was a bit complicated because my heart and soul is on fire for serving God, yet there are moments when I'm like, whoa, what was that emotion that just came through, and why did I have that response with that person? That's not how I really feel. So I stepped back and I looked at the defense mechanism of fear, that in a past life I had in many past lives I had a strong gift of being a healer. However, something happened, I'm not fully understanding, where there was one life that maybe that got to my head a bit, or you know, something happened and I lost my power because of that. Not 100% sure or 100% clear on that being the answer right now, but something to do with the fear that if I let my healing gifts come out, that could get to my head and ego. So there's this fear mechanism that if I, well then of course, you know, I have to work again on myself. So it's like keeping me safe from letting any of my gifts come out that could possibly create me being egotistic. So as crazy and complicated as that sounds, one of my major blocks is fearing that my ego will take over and not the soul in control. That is like one of my biggest fears, is that I will end up being a spiritual, materialistic, egotistic type person, and that scares the heavens out of me for some reason. Some people are like, I'm afraid I'll be left behind, or I'm afraid that, you know, I'm not lovable. I mean, I don't feel any of that. I totally feel lovable, I feel beautiful, I feel great, I feel smart, I feel wonderful. But when it comes to possibly playing with things that could, you know, mess with the ego, I get very fearful. So it blocks my abundance, and it blocks my gifts from coming out, and then sometimes they actually get stored in here because the emotion defense mechanism stores the gifts. So I did that in clearing my channel. There was this pain here. So I'm further learning that this block blocks my abundance and stuff. So as I did this channeling, it said basically you're clear, your abundance is flowing through, all is well. So I'm basically getting to the point here where I recognize that, and thanks to great spirit, and also some friends, and the patience of my husband and son around me. And you know, they're like, Sebastian's like, Mommy, why did you get so upset when I got mud all over the carpet with my shoes, but when Penny, his sister, did it, why were you so like, it's okay, just make sure you don't walk in the house with shoes? And I was like, Sebastian, I learned that this emotional reaction is not in the highest alignment of who I really am, and I was getting so upset about mud being everywhere, but I could have approached this differently by saying, honey, we have a rule, no shoes in the house. Now what I need you to do is go get the cleaner and scrub this, you know, instead of being like, go get the cleaner and scrub the floor, there's a rule, you know, see what I mean? But this is a defense mechanism, because all on a fear of my past life gifts coming up. So it's really unfair for everyone else that, and myself, that if I kept that blocking abundant energy from coming in. So I realized there was this really strong resistance, like this really heavy block that just seems to affect the whole entire flow of my life. Either I'm in the God flow or I'm in this emotional block. So it's like, what is this? You know, it's a huge pattern, and it's based off of fear. So what we recognize here in these new energies and the ascending energies and unblocking our blockages is to recognize what logically is that. And also that we don't have to be so like reliving it, but remember, we got to feel it to heal it. So we really need to feel like, instead of being, gosh, you do that every time, Victoria, get it together. Instead of talking to myself like that, pull back a little bit and be like, what is it that you're experiencing right now? And so I had a multitude of tests this weekend, especially with the energy, you know, of kids. We watched Penny this weekend, plus we had Sebastian, and there was situations with V's car. Sebastian had to go to the ER. Penny had stuff, you know, and some behavioral stuff and all this. So somehow, by the grace of God, I was able to unblock this emotion and have a whole new response. Not reacting in emotional, but actually responding. So I had a couple opportunities for some tests, like, will you level up in this frequency? Are you ready to let this blockage go and allow abundance to flow in? So Ivy and I were talking about this morning. He's like, you definitely passed those tests. So I was just like, Basti, I love you, I support you, I want you to heal. Penny, it's not your fault, you know, you're doing the best you can. It was an accident that you hurt your brother and he had to go to the ER. It's okay. Honey, I know the car has a dent in it, but the door still works, so let's just try to, you know, think about the positive here. Like, it could be that your door completely doesn't work, but it does work. Sebastian, you bumped your head, but you don't have brain damage. Penny, it was an accident, your brother knows that you love him. Instead of being like, oh my gosh, everybody, okay, this is too much energy on me, because honestly, everybody's like, so I was just like, it's okay, you're loved. It's okay, you're loved. It's okay, you're loved. We will work through these things. We got some bumps and some boo-boos, but nobody really got hurt that bad, and nothing really tragic happened. So yes, we honor how you feel, but let's also look at it as it could have been a lot worse, and be grateful for the experiences that we do have, and what can we learn from this experience. And also, what can I learn? What I can learn is to unblock that emotional reaction, because it's based off some fear of my true self coming out and people actually seeing that I'm really gifted, instead of hiding it back because, oh no, we don't want to get egotistic, so better be safe and not use your gifts. That's ridiculous, especially if we've come to this planet to help and assist. The best thing I can do is use my gifts. So gradually and slowly transmuting, grounding, and awakening this energy in service to Christ, to God, to all, you know, to all source is really the goal here for me. So as following that path, these things start to reveal themselves. So it's really good to just kind of identify, not kinda, I say kinda sometimes, I don't know why. Again, it's that old mechanism where it's like, I don't know if I'm wise enough, let me not like share any information that may be considered egotistic, you know, stuff like that. So there's that fear. Still, is processing and letting go for the abundance to flow. So just identifying the blocks doesn't mean like go beat yourself up and be like, oh my gosh, I never knew, this is insane that I have these. Just be like, okay, I'm so grateful that I can identify that, and God, Great Spirit, all source, higher self within me, I don't need this anymore. It's like a baby that doesn't need the blanket. I don't need a blanket. Like, it's totally cool for me to use my gifts now. I'm okay with it. I made peace with it. And so I'm using a little bit of my own experience because the energies were so high and so intense, you know, with ERs and car stuff and all these things coming up and all these energies and emotions, and during a full moon, and if we're an empath, I'm hypersensitive. So all this opportunity came up. But when I asked the question, what can I learn from it? What is blocking my flow of abundance? What is blocking my God flow? To see that is like, oh, so I can actually choose a new response. Like my son said, why are you responding so different now? And it's like, and so I said to him, honey, you know, I'm sorry I responded the way I did with you at that time. I didn't know any better at that time. So now I'm learning, and as humans, we learn and grow. And so now mommy's approaching parenting in a more appropriate response way versus just getting upset all the time when there's mud on the floor or there's something. So just having, and he's like, okay, Mom, that sounds good. Like, he was just really cool about it. He was just like, nice. And then it kind of, you know, again, the kind of old habit. So you may see that these old habits and blockages try to come back. Just keep saying, Spirit, I let this go. Spirit, I choose my higher self. Spirit, I choose the flow. Spirit, I'm ready. Great Spirit, I'm ready. I'm ready to flow. How can I serve today? What can I learn? And how can we unblock? How can we unblock the blockages so that this will flow, so abundance can flow through? And abundance in all kinds of things. Remember, it's like living your best self abundantly, loving abundantly, being peaceful abundantly, being joyful abundantly, consistently abundantly. So yeah, it's really a humbling experience for me, because it's like I can get really, really high vibe, and then there's like this emotional thing, and as much as I know better, it sometimes would just block me anyway. So I was just like really got at wit's end. Like, I actually had one of those vertigo spinning things last night, and was just like, I surrender my ego. Like, I surrender the fear of having an ego, which is also ego. So I was like, God, I just surrender this. And then instead of fighting the fact that my body was purely exhausted and be like, no, you have to do your chores, you have to do stuff, I was like, I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed. I'm going to let the healing flow, because my body needs it. So I woke up feeling so refreshed and so excited. And when I got the channeling, I asked just for one card. I just wanted one card. For some reason, I've had so much transformation that it's like I just need to process it all. So remember, when we go through a multitude of transformations, it's good to spend time in nature. It's good to let the time to process, and it's good to unblock any blockages so that when that high energy is coming in, it can flow better, because otherwise it can kind of get stuck somewhere. And then again, with the kind of, you see, like, we really got to watch our words. So it can get blocked somewhere. And that could just be the fact that we haven't taken the time to ground and transmute and process, and then we may return to an old comfortable habit, like me, I need to process this, I need time alone, you know, it's like all this stuff. But really what I'm saying is, I'm afraid that my ego will get out of control, and I don't want that in this life. I want to serve God to the fullest. So me letting go of even that fear, serving God to the fullest, and being like, it's okay to let yourself take it easier, take it more simple. I'm getting ready to leave on a trip to Virginia in a few days, and I just really want to simplify and let it ground and process all these transformations here in Florida, and then going home and completing a really important mission within our family, so that I'm feeling called to do. So there's just this abundant support to use the gifts that I've been given in this lifetime, especially on this mission. So it's like answering my inner calling, and there's been a process, and that's a part of what we teach on this channel, is grounding and transmuting and purging and cleansing and shifting and time leaping and all this stuff, is so that we can get to a place that we also can process it, allow it to settle in, and so that new frequency raises up. So we just keep lifting in vibration. But it is a process. There is no need to ever rush your ascension process. You do it in the time that God calls you to do it, or the source calls you to do it, because what works for you. We may take too much in at one time and be like, I want to get everything. So just start with whatever blocks come up, or you can just ask, you know, Great Spirit, can you reveal the blocks I need to focus on releasing at this time, you know, or something like that. So it gives your soul enough space to process and transmute and unblock so that abundance can pour through. But it is inside of us. We are abundant beings. We live with abundant resources available at all times. It's just sometimes our thoughts and feelings and patterns that don't serve our vibration can sometimes keep our true self from showing. So doing elimination of process, like eliminating blocks in a process, you know, take one step at a time if that works for you. If you're feeling like totally lifted up and on fire and you want to get 10 lifetimes cleared out in one moment, and that's working for you and that's what spirit calls in for you, great. I mean, I honor that. That's wonderful. But just remember, it's okay to take the time necessary that you need. There is no fear about running out of time. I used to have this fear too. We're going to run out of time. Time's like a 3D thing anyway. So the past, the present, and the future is all in this now. So how you connect in the most, you know, like detailed focus in your now, and how much you can really like authentically connect to that now to release that block is going to be more beneficial than trying to get all the blocks out at once. So just take your time with it. Unblock as it comes up, you know, honor it as it comes up, clear it as it comes up, and as you do that, in each step you take, and in each breath, and in each now, you will begin to unfold to your true self, and it's a beautiful thing, and it abundantly shines. So thank you so much for your time and blessings, and may abundance pour out to you, and may you be unblocked so that you can flow in the most beautiful way. Thank you so much for your time and space. I honor you. I'm grateful. If you like this video, feel free to hit like. If you want to subscribe to our channel, you know, hit subscribe and the little bell so you get all the notification of our new videos coming up. And also, if you feel inspired, please leave a comment. We'd be happy to hear it. Thank you so much again. Many blessings, love, and light. Namaste.